Many of these roads are impassable with signs pointing drivers to turn around and head the other direction. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see Bowman Barrier Road. I want you to take a look at this. These are mugshots from only a portion of the habitual felons convicted this week. And the proposed law is expected to bring the state nearly $16 million, but right now the law is still in the draft stage. If passed, you could start paying more money in October of 2014. Zudi, can you talk to us real quick? Were you targeting African Americans?
Today, Eyewitness News reporter Nate Stewart talked to a family friend who says they're all praying for a miracle. Nate.
Erica, and as doctors perform those tests here at CMC Maine, one of Kaufman's friends, a deacon at his church, continues to have questions about the shooting. This is what Amity Lane looks like today. Take a look at this. This is what is left of the road after heavy rains and flooding washed it away last night. Reverend McClure tells us he and his family were on their way home from Christmas shopping when a man pulled out a gun, pointed it at their car, and pulled the trigger. This right here is the old Eastland Mall property. Neighbors describe it as old and run down, but just a few hours ago I met with some powerful executives who see this place as a little piece of Hollywood. And I want to make clear, so far Alvarez has been charged with breaking and entering, not stealing. She was also charged with communicating threats against her whistleblower, Ramel Lino. Went to Southgate to get answers tonight. Do you know anything about this? No?
But they haven't been here all day.
Hello?
And ended up calling General Manager Robert Gibson. She's charged with breaking into tenants' apartments. Do you have anything to say about that?
Hey, I said thank you. So you're welcome.
Well, the temperature here in Blowing Rock continues to drop and the wind continues to pick up with the wind chill. It feels like it's about 0 degrees outside.
And Nate, the question right now, is one suspect still on the run?
Erica, one suspect is still on the run right now. One driver ran after he crashed into this pole here right behind me near Plaza Midwood. Now, we spoke to 2 people who were hit by the suspects in the 2-county police chase that ended right here. Chopper 9 Sky Zoom was there as more than a dozen police cars chased this red SUV from Gaston County into Charlotte. The chase ended in Plaza Midwood with the SUV crashing into power lines, the passenger running, and the driver jumping out the window.
What's going on? And then boom, and it hit me.
This woman tells us the suspects crashed into her before taking off running. From Chopper 9 Sky Zoom, you can see one suspect run across the street towards the Harris Teeter grocery store. Another driver, Martha Chennis, had power lines fall on top of her car.
So I don't know. I was in my car for a little bit because I was pretty shaken up. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know, I thought stuff was going to fall on me.
The Highway Patrol says the chase began in Gaston County on I-85, clocking the 2 men going 90 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. Our cameras were there on the ground as police placed the passenger of the SUV in handcuffs in the back of a cop car. Witnesses in the middle of the chase say they're lucky it wasn't worse.
It's kind of insane right now. I don't know.
And you can see this live picture right here behind me. Power crew still working to get those power lines back up and running. But this wasn't the only crash that happened during the chase. Coming up tonight at 6 p.m., we have an interview with a witness who say they watched the SUV crash into another car in North Charlotte. Reporting live in Plaza Midwood, I'm Nate Stewart, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A Channel 9 investigation uncovered a growing problem happening on the same social media sites that you and your children use. Drug agents say criminals are using the sites to deal drugs.
Eyewitness News reporter Nate Stewart investigated just how serious this problem is here in Charlotte.
Behind a keyboard, computer screen, or just the click of a smartphone, most of us use social media to stay connected. But for Shonda Bastian, she says her son used it to deal drugs.
Hurt. I was just hurt. I didn't want to believe that my son would do something like that.
Shonda says she started noticing changes in her son Steven, behavioral problems, bad grades, and violence.
But then I started seeing signs of drug use.
She says she had no idea the extent of her son's addiction and new business until she stumbled upon his Facebook account.
When I opened his inbox messages, there were hundreds and hundreds of messages of drugs transactions between him and other students.
She says she saw evidence that her son was dealing OxyContin, Xanax, cocaine, and ecstasy through the social media site. The messages she showed us detailed drug deals, shipments, and even drop-offs on school property.
But dude, I got that. I'll just give it to you after first. Talking about first period.
Agents say it's a problem exploding across the Charlotte area.
It opens up borders.
William Baxley is with the DEA in Charlotte and says e-trafficking, as he calls it, is on the rise.
So instead of going to unsafe neighborhoods, the buyer can, from the safety of their home, use the social media to purchase drugs without exposing themselves.
Baxley says cartels and criminal organizations use social media to reach a large network of potential buyers. He told us simply drug dealers feel the online community is safer than using a cell phone.
Almost all of the investigations that we participate in now have some level of exposure to social media.
A search warrant we found backs up Baxley's claims. The warrant says a man named Alfredo Alejo, a prisoner at a prison in Georgia, was using Facebook to recruit couriers and coordinate trips trafficking heroin from California into Charlotte. The warrant says the DEA, CMPD, and Mint Hill Police were able to seize 9 pounds of black tar heroin right here in Charlotte after Alejo placed the order over Facebook.
It was the worst thing I've ever went through.
But for parents like Boston, the reality is tough, sending her son off to rehab and now boarding school just to keep him offline and off drugs.
I don't think parents are aware of it, or if they are aware of it, they just want to ignore it because they don't want to have to face it.
Reporting in Charlotte, I'm Nate Stewart, Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Erica, Reverend McClure tells us he and his family were on their way home from Christmas shopping when a man pulled out a gun, pointed it at their car, and pulled the trigger. Tonight, police say that gunman is still out there. The signs of his faith can be seen all around his North Charlotte home. But as a pastor for 16 years, Reverend Johnny McClure says he never thought he would be tested like he was Tuesday night.
Violated, definitely violated, all of us.
Police say the pastor, his wife, and autistic son were on their way home from Christmas shopping. That's when officers say they pulled up behind a stopped car on Rockwell Church Road, and a man got out of the passenger seat with a gun.
And then I heard him yell, "Get out, get out."
Desperate to keep his family alive, he made the split-second decision to accelerate, speeding off around the man. Then
he fired 2 shots. Boop, boop. I didn't know then that either of us was hit or if they had caused damage.
McClure showed us the damage to his car. 2 bullet holes, one just inches from where his wife was sitting in the back seat. Tonight, as police continue to search for the shooter, McClure tells us he will resort to his Christian faith to help him and his family move on.
But I'm in prayer for this young man that he gets some kind of attention wherein he can get his life back on track.
And I'm told there have been other similar incidents in the area. Police are investigating whether they're connected to this one. But tonight, police are unable to give us a description of the gunman. Reporting live in Uptown, I'm Nate Stewart, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Nate Stewart confronted that dealer about the accusations just hours ago.
Zudi, can you talk to us real quick? With Channel 9 cameras rolling, Zudi Sade refused to answer our questions tonight regarding this lawsuit filed today by state and federal officials against his Buy Here, Pay Here car dealerships, Auto Fair and Southeastern Auto. The lawsuit claims Sade would routinely target African-American customers with poor credit, selling cars higher than their suggested value and requiring customers to pay lopsided down payments and unusually high interest rates. The complaint also says Sade has made statements indicating that he was specifically interested in African-American customers because he perceived them to be of inferior intellect and have fewer options for credit and thus more likely to accept the terms of the installment sales contracts. In one example, the lawsuit says Auto Fair purchased a 2001 model year car with 115,000 miles on it at an auction for $7,610. It then says Auto Fair sold the car to a customer for $12,900, then charged a 29% interest rate, the highest allowed by state law. If the customer made the 87 biweekly payments of $200 on the financed amount, the customer would have paid a total of $20,013.42 for the car.
I think that the Department of Justice has wrongfully, charged into this.
Sade's attorney denies any of the allegations and told us by phone that each customer purchasing a car from either of Mr. Sade's Buy Here, Pay Here dealerships is offered the same interest rate regardless of their race.
He offers the maximum rate allowable under North Carolina law, that he's not in violation of state law.
Tonight, Sade isn't talking. Can you tell us anything about this lawsuit? Were you targeting African Americans? Nate Stewart, Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10. And again, here at University Hospital, there are 5 patients in critical condition. We'll continue to keep you updated. Occupy protesters are behind me, waiting this out, chanting, "We are the 99%. Guys, I don't know if you're hearing this, but as you can see, they are putting handcuffs on many of the protesters right now. Is Big Brother watching? It's cameras like this that business owners are setting up all around 5 Points to try to catch criminals in the act. What we first know is that bond hearing for Holmes is set for tomorrow. Well, guys, I'm sure if you've been out on the roads anywhere in Columbia today, you've seen the smoke. Take a look at this. This is the best shot you will see of the Casey fire going on right now. The Wiley Real Estate Group then told the High Hills Water Company to cut the water off and told residents to stop sending their rent checks. It was here behind me where Columbia police say a crossing guard was helping students cross the street at Watkins Nance Elementary School. But it was here on the other side of the street where Columbia police say a young boy tried to cross but was struck by a landscaping vehicle. With thousands of people in the Midlands looking to fill up to fulfill their travel plans this summer, experts say the best case scenario for gas prices is that they stay the same. Here's where officials say it happened on Claudia Drive. From streaming in the streets to here in cyberspace, Twitter and Facebook users, of course, had something to say. I tried calling both of the lieutenant governor's offices and his media spokesperson to set up an interview. It was a concerned phone call that led Calhoun County Sheriff's deputies to this road where they found 1,200 marijuana plants.
News 19's Nate Stewart sat down with the family tonight. The father here in this case saved one daughter.
That's right.
Tragically, just couldn't get to the other.
That's right, JR, and it's a true tragedy anytime anyone dies in a car accident, but the situation is made even worse when you're helpless to save the life of your loved one. And that's exactly what happened last Friday to a Saluda father. Tonight, his heartbreaking story of how he could save one daughter, but not the other. It's the 4th game of the season.
Friday night, Saluda football, nothing better.
The drumbeat of the student band fills the stands as the Tigers take on Branchville.
It's just energy in the air.
Hundreds in the community turn out for the game and halftime festivities. School principal Harvey Livingston recalls this particular Friday.
Everywhere from the Spirit Week to decorating the school to our banners.
Just halftime playing with the band. It was fun.
14-year-old trumpet player Shayla Andrews was performing along with her 17-year-old sister Joy.
It was fun. It was homecoming. And my best friend, she won homecoming queen.
Members of the band flew banners honoring 2 of the school's students who had died in years past. As it happens, one fan snaps this photo of a rainbow over the band.
There was a ray of sunshine amongst the clouds shining down. It was really a perfect night up until we got the phone call.
My daddy, he had gave us the car, told us to come straight home.
After the game, Shayla and her sister Joy packed up their band equipment and grabbed a bite to eat.
And I got a piece of pizza, and I don't remember anything after that.
We're waiting to come home, and we just here waiting.
The girl's father, Ernest Andrews, says that a neighbor knocked on the door saying there'd been an accident just feet away from his home.
I just took off running because the car was already, it was in flame. And I was just I ran.
What Ernest hears next, he says he'll never forget.
I hear my baby crying, Daddy. I hear her calling Daddy. And I had to go in there and get her. All I seen was fire. And I know that my car and my baby was in there. Both of my babies was in there. And the only thing I know, I got to try to get them out.
With the car engulfed, Ernest dives through the smoke and flames and feels a hand.
And I started pulling her, and she slipped. So I just went on up in there and got my arms up under her and pulled her out. And then when I went back to get Joy to try to get her out, that's when the car exploded again.
When I woke up, I remember, I think I was asking for my sister, and they told me that she didn't make it. She was just the nicest person, and she had a crazy laugh. Like her laugh could brighten up anybody's day, and she had the biggest smile. She was my best friend. She kept me out of trouble more than anything.
This wouldn't be the only time tragedy struck the Andrews family. In 2011, a 3rd sister died in a car accident in Florida.
Not this. it do not help no better the second time around. But I just did all I could to save this one, and I tried to do my best to save the other one. That's all you can do. And any father would do the same thing. Any father would went up in there and tried to get their baby.
My dad's second child, he got to bury. And I know it's hard on them and my mama for them to even have to bury a child. I know it's hard for them, and then the fact that they could have lost both of us.
I wish somebody could hit me and wake me up, but it's for real. It's for real.
Cut, ready, go.
On Monday, a somber band practice ends with students leaving messages for Joy, but it wouldn't be the only one.
Nobody will ever forget the smile that she always had.
Up in the sky, over practice, Joy's best friend Jamie says it was a sign.
Some people took pictures of it, and later we looked at it, and you could see her face in the clouds. We know it was her watching over us.
While the empty halls will be without Joy and her laughter, family and love is what the Andrews family say will get them through this tragedy.
I just do what I think would make her proud, make her happy with me.
As a family, school, and community all continue to mourn, they know eventually they will heal, not only because they have each other, but someone up above watching down.
We're going to do our best to make this thing work. And we'll be the best family that we can do and show our gratitude for Saluda County, because God is good all the time.
And Saluda High School has started selling these t-shirts that say "Enjoy Life" to serve as a reminder for Joy Andrews and the impact that she left. The school says all donations will go towards helping supplement the family's cost. On Saturday at 2 p.m., the family says that they will be holding funeral services at the high school at Saluda High.
You know, the father had a choice here, an impossible choice. He saves this one daughter. If he goes to the other side of the car first, I mean, you know, this is just a tragedy, and the father, you got to feel for the family tonight, doing all he can to save his children.
And what he told me, you know, was that if he had just showed up 2 minutes later, I mean, he wouldn't have had either of them. So.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking tonight, especially hearing from her sister, who you know is feeling the pain more than anybody.
Absolutely.
But the dad's a hero. No matter what he did, the dad's a hero.
Thoughts and prayers go out to that family and that entire community tonight.
Thank you, Nate.